What is it that you value? And what do you want out of life? Because a lot of times we're so busy on the treadmill of life, we don't even ask ourselves that question. But I guarantee when you stop and ask yourself the question, and for me, I would have said, oh, it's my family. Oh, it's my health. Oh, it's my, my community. It's my, all these things. But was I living the life in line with those values? No, I was working 60 plus. I was coming home and having drinks. I wasn't taking care of myself. So I think to me, the first start, no matter whether you're in a bad relationship with a person or with a substance or whatever it is, ask yourself, is this what I want? We only get one life. And I think a lot of times we push to just think that when we retire or when so-and-so happens but life's over. And, with my mom and my sister, they were in their 50s when they died. I mean, we are not guaranteed tomorrow. So look at where you are today. Is this the way you want to live your life? And if the answer to that is no, then you have to make the change. You have to have the courage to make the change. And it is the hardest thing you will do, but it is the best thing. I tell you, being able to get away from the toxic relationship and getting off the alcohol. I've been able to make some what people may consider selfish choices. But you know what, Jen? It's not selfish. Self-care and self-preservation is not selfish. It's what we have to do. And at the end of our lives, on our deathbed, what are we going to say? We wish we had worked harder. We wish we had stayed in that negativity. We wish we had drank more alcohol. No, I don't think so.
No, quite right. But that, you touched there a little bit on like the societal pressure, the work that we get in, the expectations, and it is intense. Like there is this almost unwritten life for us, how life is supposed to be, and so what we do is we do have a choice, but we might not feel like we do because we're just following the same patterns that generational patterns of how our parents worked and then how their parents were, and when we just take that moment and realize, no, this is still a choice. I have a choice. Everyone has a choice. Doesn't matter what field you're in. There's always a choice, and the choice needs to be you. And
right.
So as a mom or as a parent, right, like we're always so far down the priority list. Like there is the work, there's family, kids, or if you don't have kids, there's something else. There's always these obligations, there's work. And then so far down the list is us. By the time we get there, there's nothing left. So what do we do? Self-soothe. And as an adult, we usually don't suck our thumb or use a pacifier. There will be the drink, which is kind of that thing of, which is why you hear so many people. I just feel like it's the reward at the end of the day. Yeah. And so this is another thing that really, I'm sure you've heard that yourself so much about that reward. I just feel like I need to reward myself. Mm-hmm. So us humans have somehow told ourselves that this is a reward to a point that we actually see it as a reward, and we do that knowing fully that this is going to hurt us. Isn't it crazy?
It is crazy. And I kind of liken it to the tobacco. And you're pretty young, but back in my day, we had cigarette commercials, and people in the hospital smoked, everybody smoked. And they promoted it, thought it was great. The tobacco industry was killing us in the droves. And today, I think people are becoming aware, at least, and thanks to your organization and others out there taunting, look, there are other ways, but our society has put so much pressure on the social aspect of drinking. It's almost unheard of not to drink, or at least that is changing now. But in the past, if you didn't drink, what was wrong with you? You must be a bad alcoholic, or you must, what, you poor thing, you can't drink. Like you said, like it's a reward. And I think we have to figure out for ourselves these stories that we tell ourselves, because we inherit these stories from wherever, and we tell ourselves these things, and then until we challenge those beliefs, we can't change them. And so challenging the belief that alcohol is a reward, challenging a belief that you are always going to be overweight because you're family was, or that you're no good at this because somebody told you were no good at this. Give yourself the chance to challenge those stories. Is that true? Maybe it was true for a minute. Maybe it was something someone told you that was never true. And yet you've held on to these negative beliefs and lived half your life under these false beliefs when, like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, you had the power all along.
Yeah, right. And maybe having that courage to challenge our beliefs. You know, some of our core beliefs are actually not our own. They are, I call them generational hand-me-downs. Like when it's just beliefs that comes from your family, from your surroundings when you grow up, which was kind of placed upon you to a point, to a fault that you just think that this is who you are because this is all that you know. Same thing goes with how your family celebrated, how your family dealt with stress or grief or anything like that. And I would say that that's such a big part of who we are today that we might not even realize it. So dare to question that. And I find that in coaching, a lot of people feel like, oh, well, that feels like I'm going against my family. And it's not about that at all, but it's about discovering what your beliefs are.